Hey, what's up, everybody? Your boy Sai from Fabtcg, and today we have the Team Enigma deck tech from Team Oni. For those who don't know, Oni is a flesh and blood team based out of Ohio that I am captain and coach of. I do a lot of deck building and help with people's decks, as well as help them get better as players. But as far as like where this deck is concerned, there were about 6 decks that I was going to choose from to play in the event, and could not really decide. So I kind of, once I finished all 6, I like spam tested all of them in real life and on Talishar. And at the time of recording, because I'm actually recording this before I leave for Nats, I still haven't decided what I'm going to play. It's great. I'm also going to bring everything, but I would like to actually give you guys insight to where my head was at before the event. Obviously, you guys, if you at the time, if you guys have seen this, you guys already know what I played. So, also, I'm gonna be completely honest. I've been up for like 6 hours in a row just staring at my computer making videos for the weekend. So if I start to drown out or I talk too quickly and I start over because yeah. If it starts to get a little rough, I just ask for your forgiveness. But where did we land with Enigma? So what was the reason that we would want to bring Enigma? It was just to attack the slow decks, or the decks that were not good at consistently penetrating our defenses. Decks that required a lot of cards to function. Or, even the inverse is true, decks that, even with a lot of cards, couldn't use them all properly, and we can actually fatigue them. Decks like KO. And the first example is a deck like New, where she kind of needs all the cards in her hand to do something, and a lot of times she still can't get over for meaningful damage through her defenses. But we also want to have some good mirror tech, and you guys will see a fan favorite card return in the Enigma deck, and it took a lot of testing to figure out if it's something that actually was good in the mirror. It was a card that I really couldn't tell if it was just memeing or if the spots that was occurring was infrequent, but the spots just kept turning up, and then Dark Odious, Noah Clark, won the PTI event with Enigma, and we've seen a lot of the cards that he was running. Obviously, it aligned with a lot of the cards I was already running. So I did take a little bit of his sideboard guide and added a few of his cards. There were some questionable cards in there, and we took it out for some of our tech pieces, and we have this. So starting off with the equipment, very standard equipment, we have Cosmo. There is some contention with Iris there. I know some people are very big Iris endurers and Reality Refractor endurers. However, I like good cards in my deck, so I actually went with Cosmo, weirdly enough. Tunic as the chest, Pathway as the legs. This is a very contentious thing, and this is something I had to fight, because there was a version of this deck that actually used Footsteps and Footsteps only. It was a deck that played a little bit more at instant speed. Was susceptible to decks that consistently pumped pretty high, like Azalea, or decks that could pump mid-combat, like Warrior. But for the most part, against decks like Ninja, the Footsteps felt pretty good with how that build was, but I think the Pathways are just an insane equipment piece in the spots that they're occurring in, especially against decks like Wizard. Just being able to have Ward through in your boots is better than any consistent AB would ever do in that spot. Transverse is the best set piece in the game. Close to possibly being the best card in the game. It's because the things that occur when this card is blocked with, and if it also fetches a chi, a lot of those times these are game-winning and tempo-swinging plays. Now, in context, is this the best card? Sorry, without the context, is the best card? Absolutely not. If any card piece just said, block with this, search your deck for Titanium Bobble, put it in your hand, like, to be fair, a lot of decks kind of would run that, just because. Okay, maybe a bad example. Basically, it's like, there are headpieces that have a little more utility, like Scouting Flesh Bag, Crown of Providence, and all that stuff. They actually have tangible benefits. This headpiece needs a little support to have benefit, but when it does, ooh wee, it is right. It cooks super fucking hard. Weirdly enough, the arm piece is like the worst part of the equipment suite. It's super replaceable. The issue is there's not much to replace it with. In theory, you could do like wave of reality, but unless you're like on Iris mode, I see no reason to run wave. Oh yes, it's those. It's that 2-3 a.m. fucking kick. Oh god, so I've been there for 6.5 hours. I'm sorry, guys. I do apologize. I'm doing all this live. I'm not doing another take. So going on to the main deck, we're actually pretty heavy on the attacks. We have 3 Battlefront Bastion, 3 CNC, and 3 Emerging Metamorph. A lot of these are really good into the mirror, which is a big reason for a lot of our card choices. As I do think Enigma is going to be a popular deck, not the most popular deck, but I think our new matchup is already pretty good as it is, and we didn't need additional tech. So decided to hedge a little bit for the mirror and even some of the mid-range matchups. Secondarily, CNC and so actually even more Battlefront Bastion is really getting to Prism. That's also going to be a big matchup that we're going to have to play against, so making sure we shore those up. 1 Fabtcg and 3 Syncplo. These are there to help protect our ward. We can win games a lot of times just by having a really, really good ward piece, or sometimes really 2 good, really ward pieces, like a Spectral Shield with like 3 counters, like a Waxing Spectre or something. And you just keep those up, and then you just keep swinging like 8+ a turn. You just start winning games. If someone said you can play a game and you got to swing Wounded Bull every single turn, a lot of people would really enjoy that and probably win a lot of games. So that's kind of what we kind of aim to do there. Spectrum Infestation. This allows us to get through counters on a Spectre Shield that we make if we have no other auras. The downside also being a 2-cost block too, but with its upside making a hammer for 2 mana, then the hammer being free every single turn, that's definitely a trade-off we're willing to make. Waxing Spectre is the better out of the Waning Vengeance and Waxing Spectre line, because this has a +1 counter attached to it. Well, it does cost 1 more mana. I would definitely trade the 1 mana for the +1 counter, the ability to have Go Again. Go Again is super important. I think if we went back to a Footsteps led deck, Waning Vengeance would be added in, but as we are not a Footsteps only deck, I think we have to cut that in favor of things like Waxing Spectre being more of our primary instant speed piece. Dark Odious with the tech. So this is actually one of the first cards I put in the deck was Dissolve Reality. But I was super unsure. I could not weigh if taking away Zen, Azalea, Kano, etc., etc. I could not tell if ruining their current arsenal was good enough to give them the Ponder token. I could not tell. Yes, having a CNC that you don't have to work for is good. But especially once people see the first Dissolve Reality, the issue that you come into is people will start putting garbage in there, trying to bait you into playing another one, so you can get a pawn token, so they can get a better card. The issue with that is you can't predict that, and I'm pretty sure you just jam the Dissolve Reality. This also obviously works for your side too. There's not a ton of stuff you don't want to Arsenal. Like, I'm just looking here, like, I'm almost satisfied with almost everything except, like, maybe, like, a Ripple Away. I guess I don't want to put a Ripple Away in there or, like, a Warmongers in there. So I can just Dissolve Reality that, get a Ponder token, and go on with my day. It is also Yelled Block 3 for the sake of resources. Resonance Coalescence, one of the best cards in the deck. Allows us to shift around +1 counters and then transfer them into Spectral Shields. One of the best plays that you have here is Spectral Manifestation, swing in for 4. Play Restless Coalescence, swing in for 5, make a Spectral Shield, Swing it for 1. That's just 9 right at the dome. You now have ward 4 with the ability to make it ward 5 by default on your opponent's turn. And then you're drawing 4 more cards, so you can easily protect it. And if you can just keep just that board line, you can win a lot of games that way. Next, we have our first Transcend card. We have Drop in the Ocean. Drop in the Ocean is actually really good in this deck. The reason being is every point of damage matters, offense and defense. And if we can neg someone's offensive card and keep our ward potentially, that's just game winning a lot of times, especially like daggers late game, just being able to go no blocks, they go directions, they vambrace you, you drop in the ocean, and they just go like, oh no. They feel like they've been had. Obviously, like the vambrace thing will carry, but you can make them overextend on resources where otherwise they wouldn't have. And you'll take that every single time. 2 ways win. We had this at 3, but we need to make cuts for some other cards. This is definitely a card that you can have at 3. Alternatively, you can actually even have this at 1 if you'd like. I don't think the effect is super relevant to winning a game, but I don't ever think I've resolved one and been upset about it. Hold the line. It is a concession that we have to make because of all the Zens, the KOs, the Levias, etc., etc. We have to. We just simply have to. Even Prism, well, with tomes and eruditions, we have to just play hold the line. We just don't have a choice, unfortunately. It does turn on Transcending pretty easily, which is a good thing to note. Homage Ancestors just gains its life and Transcend, nothing more to that. 3 levels of Enlightenment. This is one of the best cards, if not the best card in the set, non-equipment wise. I like to call this L Strike. When other people start calling it L Strike, you guys know you guys heard it here first. I've been calling it L Strike for the last month plus. It's definitely L Strike. The most common mode in this, weirdly enough, I usually am using this as the +2 mode. Where I see a lot of people use this as go again, they lead off with this. I like actually ending with this, especially in the mirror. I love this bingo 1 for 5 in the mirror. Oh, it's so good. Mana Stitches and Miragi. This is becoming like the new ALS where this gets resolved in the field. Everyone just throws their hands up in the air, they roll their eyes, and they just want to concede the game. The card's not that good. Don't concede the game over this, but this card's definitely the best card in the deck. If maybe second, if you just really Coalescence that month, or you're and enjoy your other cards. But even at its floor, if this is being pitched by regular blue and then swung, comes in for 4, where it's 2, that's 5 value, which, yeah, you would like to get more out of that. But this can easily stop breakpoints. Protecting this is super important. Even more so if you end up getting the chi. If you end up getting the chi, then this card's stat line just becomes broken. If you're able to just untap with this even once, God forbid twice, it's really hard to lose that game. Miragi is just that good. That is why we run as many chi as we do, and Transverse is very key. Almost every single time that we have a chi in the deck and we have the ability to play Miragi, I'm always block with the headpiece. Obviously, we wait to play it till our turn, but just resolving a Miragi and then being able to swing with it is so powerful than untapping with it. If we have the ability to protect it, it gets even better. If we have Tuna, it gets even better than that. This is a card I can see never cutting from the deck. I don't know what would have to happen besides it being banned for me never to register this card. Next Starting card is Passover. Pretty simple, just banishing this from Grabber. Is relevant versus Zen. Is relevant versus Zen, especially if throwing heavy bonds on. I do want to point that out. Phantasm Tidemaul. So here, let me tell you about this weird German Phantasm Tidemaul that I've had. It was one of the first cards in the deck when Enigma first got spoiled. I got spoiled what the weapon would be a little bit before everyone else did, like before the premiere. I don't actually remember what got spoiled with the weapon. I think it might have been the Blitzstick. But I knew what this was, and I was like, oh, Tide Mill seems cool. The only issue is just, like, it needs to grow for it to be good so we can get the +1 counter. And it felt really hard in the early builds to keep it up. That's why I cut it. I believe those were too aura focused and they were really bad at blocking. So as we've gotten better at blocking and we understand the threat density of most decks and we know what to defend and not defend, this card's made its way back in. It is just a powerhouse in some matchups. Like your slower matchups like Victor, this can just win the game. Especially when you have cards like Haze bending out. If you have this and Haze bending out, bad things really happen for your opponent. By the way, this card is spiked to like $50, by the way. It's insane. Preserve Tradition, for my mind, the best Transcend card. Every single deck wants to play it. Every single deck is never upset to see it, unless it's exactly turn 1, they don't have anything. Like, that's literally it. Rage Spectre, mostly there for like Kano. It does come up. The attack does come up on your turn, obviously, but it's a main deckable sideboard slot. If you happen to resolve this and you want to swing it, if you don't have another piece to go again, it's fine. It's 6 damage. It's not nothing. Especially if it's like Tunic into this. That's pretty awesome, but the card's just okay. I'm never going to like lose my board to play a Rage Spectre. Rip Away says fuck Azalea. That's about it. Sorry, I coughed. Like I said, we're doing this live and we're doing this raw, baby. But yeah, Rip Away is there for the Azalea matchup. It splashes some help into other matchups, but it doesn't really come up. It's mostly the blue block 3 in your average matchups. Rather than Sunsetting Moon, got a card filtering. You get to draw a card and put a card on the bottom of your deck. Really insane if you have like extra chi in your hand, or you just don't have another blue, but you still want to transcend, and then you also want to use Enigma's ability. You can get some extra filtering going on. Pretty solid. Okay, one thing I do want to actually add to all this is the importance of the chi that we select in Enigma. Almost all of the chi that we have, except one, we can just straight up play at any point in time. My issue with things like Grain that tips the scale and Path Well Traveled is you actively need to already have done something to be able to do it. Well, yes, you usually want to be playing both cards, the Transcend card and something else. It is nice that in a pinch, if it is necessary, I can always just play the card. Like, I've had Drop in the Ocean just win me a game just by playing it. And not a lot of other Transcend cards can say that. Specialization. Specialization has 3 modes. Make 2 Spectre Shields, put a +1 counter on each piece of ward. And then Transcends. I do think this card is very good. Like, I'm not going to say this card is not good. But I see people overextending their health for this card. Like, there's one to sacrifice their board state just to go a card plus this for Transcend. And then their board is like 2, maybe 3 Spectre Shields, and they pass, and then they wonder why their board just consistently gets wiped, and they can't hold up. It's like, do not be trapped by this card. Do not be trapped by this card. This card is very good, but it is not worth losing the game over good. You'll play this card if you have the room to. A lot of times, if it's like early turns, I'll just transcend with this and then do nothing else. Because all I need is to have that cheat in my deck for whenever I need to transverse with a Mirage or something. Serapot, another transcend card that needs no other actions, just needs to be existing in the hand, and we get to benefit. This runs with me. Zen's a menace. We need to get rid of Zen. This helps out a lot. This is also a card that we can transcend off of. The only danger you're going to run into is if you didn't strip cards from your opponent before, playing this can get kind of weird, and you might accidentally lose a game because you get your opponent additional card. Now, realistically, at the highest level, you'll know when to play this kind of card, but it can be a little bit sketchy, so I would be careful when I choose to play this. Last two cards is Unraveled Aggression. It's just a 3 for 5. It's unmovable that sometimes has extra text if you have a chi into your slower matchups. Being able to like go transverse, get a chi, block with this, block for 7, get a card is a really good gameplay interaction. Doesn't come up a ton, but it is something that comes up versus the star decks that I do enjoy. If Mirage, for example, has already been used, or I really need the extra defensive pressure, and then to be able to draw a card to be able to do something different. But at the end of the day, 3 for 5, it's extremely fine. Lastly, Warmongers. Azalea needs to politely fuck off. This is Azalea's, one of Azalea's best matchups, so Azalea loves to see us. We need the Warmongers to be able to fight back. The last time I played Azalea's Enigma, I played 5 Warmongers and only barely won. That is... Oh, sorry, 4. That is a very scary proposition that you can try to hose the Azalea 4 separate times and still almost lose while having a big board. Just, they run Murkmire now. A good Murkmire just ruins you. If they're smart, they're running things like Dreadbore. They can still run Death Dealer and it fine, but like the Dreadbore makes the matchup feel almost unlosable. Especially the more D-Racks you play. Moving on to our sideboard. We have 1000 Year Reunion for our slow matchups. So the big tech is the out muscle. This is a former Victor staple. So why are we running Jackdaw? Jackdaw's here for the mirror. It's for the warriors that may or may not show up. It's for Ninja. If it's specifically Zen. Katsu, we don't want to run that, but specifically Zen. But what's it doing in the mirror? This is 6 go again, and hopefully some auras our opponent can't do much about. Now, if they end up, being able to block with something and they just end our turn, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. Obviously, that's the reason why you swing at some of the auras first, so you don't just auto lose your turn. But on average, the decks that you're siding this into shouldn't be popping you, so this is pretty free tech into the mirror. It's had high success rate, and I think we'll continue playing it forward. 2 immovable, just extra defense. Cosmic Awakening for your fatigue matchups. Dense Blue Mist for your decks that have on-hits and want to go wide. Especially good if we pitch a chi to it, because now on-hits don't actually matter. But hopefully we have enough ward to be able to keep that up, but it's not a possibility all the time. Next, we have our AB equipment, running AB3, and then we are running Footsteps as a backup leg piece into some more aggressive matchups where a pathway just will not get it done. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this Enigma list. This is a list that I'd be very, very comfortable with piling at the tournament. As of right now, where is Enigma at like on my personal list of taking? She's probably like 3rd. Yeah, she's probably like a safe 3rd on my list. I think as time goes closer, I know what I'm going to end up taking. But it is good to know that I do have a couple options, and I think Enigma is a very good one. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment on what you guys want to see next. It's been your boy Cypher from Cypher TCG. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.